Welcome back to another class on Chofetz Chaim and Mishlei. In the previous class, the Chofetz Chaim brought down the verse in Perek Bet of Mishlei in Pasuk Daled and Hey that the way a person has to approach Torah and mitzvot in Avodat Hashem is just like a person would go after money. If a person is going to approach Torah and mitzvot the way a person seeks out kesef, and if he's going to look at Torah and mitzvot as if one is searching for treasure, only then are you going to understand the fear of God, v'dat Elokim timtza, and the knowledge of God you're going to find. The Chofetz Chaim wanted to learn from these two words, he wanted to apply this to a person learning Torah. Approach to learning Torah should be exactly the same approach for when one searches for treasures. We saw in the previous class that Chofetz Chaim brought down a story with the father and his 10 sons. The father told the 10 sons, I have left behind for you 10 bags of silver. After his death, he wants the children to go ahead and retrieve them. The Chofetz Chaim continues to speak and say the children did exactly as the father willed. They went to the mountain, they started digging and digging until they found the first bag of silver. Then the second, and so on and so forth, until they got to the 9th bag. The Chofetz Chaim said, what happens if one of the brothers would say, we have accumulated enough wealth already. We have 9 bags of silver. Why should we go after the 10th one? Let it be buried inside the ground. Why do we need it? Why exert ourselves? The Chofetz Chaim said this type of son is considered to be a fool. The language that the Chofetz Chaim used, he says, L'shotei yechashev. He's considered to be a fool, that is leaving this 10th bag of treasures in the dirt forever. Now you might ask yourself a question, is that a normal thing to do? Or better yet, would anyone in the right state of mind leave $1 million buried inside the ground? The answer is no. So the next question that begs to be asked, so why is it we do it when it comes to mitzvot and Torah? Why is it that we are not hungry to do more mitzvot? Or we're not hungry to learn enough Torah? Why don't we have that hunger to go ahead and want to learn more Torah and more Torah? Because by being content with what we have, by you thinking you have learned 1 hour every single day for the week, and you're happy with that, my question to you is, what about the rest of the time where you could have learned more Torah and have accumulated more wealth of Torah and have gotten a greater reward in Olam Haba? By you not going after those extra hours where you could have gotten, you are burying that Torah inside the ground. Tell me, what are we considered when we do this? We're not considered fools? If I tell you right now that there's $100 underneath the carpet, you're going to pass by it? No, you're going to bend over, you're going to pick it up. But if I tell you there's hundreds of words of Torah, are you going to go pick it up? Or you'll say, you know what, I already learned Torah. And that is the unfortunate reality today. That we are content with 1 hour of learning or 10 minutes of learning. The question, Rabotai, should really be asked. Why are we content with the little when it comes to Torah and satisfied? And we're not content when it comes to money and materialistic things. So this is what the Chofetz Chaim is going to want to speak about today. The Chofetz Chaim is going to tell us every person has treasures of Torah which are hidden for him in the Torah. However, Rabotai, it's his job to find it. Nobody's going to do it for you. If you're not going to open the book and sit down and learn, it's never going to come to you. So therefore, if you think of learning 1 hour of Torah versus 3 hours of learning Torah, if you think 1 hour is good and you're content with it, you are burying the rest of the treasures of Torah. Are we not considered to be real fools? When you have time to learn and you don't learn, you are allowing that Torah which was yours, which could have been yours, to be buried forever inside the ground. Now I'm going to show you how is it possible that the Torah is buried inside the ground. And this is what I want to read for you today. Comes the Chofetz Chaim, after the Chofetz Chaim said regarding that son that would think that 9 bags of silver is good, and the 10th one the 10th bag could be left inside the ground, the Chofetz Chaim called him a fool. So comes the Chofetz Chaim and he says, Ken hadavar zeh. So too, this is exactly the thing when it comes with us and learning Torah. When a person is content with the little, you are burying the rest of the Torah in the ground. So the Chofetz Chaim says, שצריך אדם ללמוד כל ימיו הכתובים לו לחיים. A person needs to learn Torah all the days of his life which were allotted to him. No days off. וכן בכל יום, and so to every single day, a person has an obligation to learn Torah. כל השעות שיש לו ללמוד, all the hours that a person has the ability to learn, has to learn. Meaning if you have spare time, you should learn. ואז ימצא בתורה כל המטמון שהטמין השם יתברך עבורו. Then you're going to find in the Torah all the treasures which HaKadosh Baruch Hu hid for you in the Torah. Because if you recall in the previous classes, we started speaking about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu on Har Sinai gave every single Jew a portion in his Torah. And it's our obligation to go and find it. So can you imagine if HaKadosh Baruch Hu had blessed you to be able to learn Shas, Poskim, Talmud Yerushalmi, Chumash, Tanakh. Let's just say that's how much you were supposed to learn. That's how much was here in this world. And you decided to listen to Shu'urim every single day, thinking you're learning. Where's your Shas? Where's your Mishnayot? Where's your Halachot? Where's your Tanakh? Where's everything? So you think you're a tzaddik by listening to Shu'urim all day, which is nice. Rabotai, but that's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu had planted for you in this world. If I tell you right now that there's a rich father and he left a bank account of $100 million for his children, the problem is the children don't know exactly which bank account. The father had 50,000 bank accounts. Tell me, do you think the children are gonna go ahead and start working in McDonald's for $5.25? Or go ahead and start cleaning houses? Or do you think they're gonna go over every single account that the father had to find where their $100 million is located? The answer is simple. They're gonna go ahead and they're gonna find the account. But Rabotai, but we're that person that wants to go ahead and work in McDonald's for $5.25, or he wants to go ahead and he wants to work cleaning houses instead of finding his own treasure of Torah, which HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him. Because when you're listening to Shu'urim, you're compared to that person that goes out and he works minimum salary wage. Instead of going after Rabotai, the real deal, going after the Shulchan Aruch, the Gemara, Talmud Bavli, Talmud Yerushalmi, Tanakh, Mishnah, we are settling, Rabotai. And that is going to be a person's Gehenna when he's going to come to the next world. And he's going to realize how much he could have learned. And he didn't. And he's going to say, but I thought I was learning all this time. I've been listening to all the shiurim. Rabotai, there is a difference between learning inside versus just by listening. They're not the same learning. It's not the same. That's learning, but when you're inside the book, it's called amelus. You're toiling. That's what Rashi says in Parshat Bechukotai, Im tihu amelim b'Torah. When it says that if a person is going to go in Hashem's laws, then he's going to be blessed with all the blessings that the Torah has a promise. Rashi says that specifically if you are toiling in Torah, you're breaking your head, pen, paper, highlighter, notes, review. But to listen to Shur Rabotai, that's only learning. That's not ameling. That's not toiling. Maybe the Talmid Chacham that's giving over the Shur, maybe he toils. But not you, Rabotai. So understand, to make a goal, take a Gemara, begin with Masechet Barachot, Masechet Shabbat. I don't want to say Masechet Erev. Masechet Erev, a lot of people are going to back off. But take a Gemara and make a goal for yourself. I'm going to finish this Gemara. Chumash, Mishnah, Halacha. Do you know how much you can accomplish? Rabotai, I'm going to tell you in very short. There are many people that were very discouraged from beginning to learn Gemara. And I said to them, why? Because it's hard, you have to break your head, you have to understand here, there. I said, just why don't you try a little bit? 1 line a day. 2 lines a day, whatever you can. Try every single day, very little. Rabotai, over time, they were able to do 1 parak of the Gemara, 1 chapter. And then over time, 2 chapters. Today, Rabotai, these people, they have around 8 to 10 masechtot that they have accomplished, they have finished. And you know what they say? Rabbi, if we have never started, we would have never been here. All you have to do is just start. Nobody's telling you to finish. Chazal tell us, when it comes to learning Torah, nobody tells you have to finish the whole Torah, but you do have to start. It's not on you to finish, but it's on you to start. But you know the great thing about learning Torah is, when you start, Hashem gives you that heavenly assistance to be also able to finish. That's why a person has to make a goal, to learn Torah inside, to take notes. Rabotai, when it comes to searching for treasures, how does one search for treasure? Does he listen to the, what do you call these people that know how to dig the ground, the excavator and all? Oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. Or does he go ahead and actually follow what they say? Bring the machine, bring the shovels, bring manpower, and start digging. That's exactly what we have to do. Our manpower is when we sit with a pen and a highlighter and learn inside the Torah. So one more time. A person needs to learn all the days which were allotted to him in this world. No days off. And so to every single day. All the hours where he's able to learn. He has to learn. Then you're going to find in the Torah all the treasures which Hashem had hidden for you in the Torah. But Rabotai, every spare moment has to be precious by you. Do you understand how many books there are written today? How much Torah we have? But I'll tell you like this. What I tell my children, I'll give you exactly the same advice. Before you pick up any other book, it's good to learn Yalkut Yosef. I'm not going to tell you no. It's good to learn Chacham Ovadia, Ben Ish Chai, Rav Chaim. I'm not going to tell you no. That's good to go over it, to see the bottom line. However, remember this. If you want to begin to learn Torah the real way, begin with Gemara and the Shulchan Aruch with the Beit Yosef. You might tell me, Rabbi, I don't have all that time. Listen, we know how much time we have and how much time we don't have. Today, Baruch Hashem, people have a lot of times. Laundry you don't do. Washing your dishes you don't do. Dry cleaning gets done for you. Cleaning lady, you might have. Car, you drive, saves you time from walking. Shopping, Amazon. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it so accessible for us to be able to go ahead and learn Torah. And what do, Rabotai? We waste our time from learning that Torah. So don't tell me you don't have time. We have time. So use it the proper way. Begin with a sugya in the Gemara. Move on to the Beit Yosef. If you can't do it by yourself, try to get a Talmud Chacham. Move on to the Beit Yosef. Then the Shulchan Aruch. If you're in the Rav Chaim Halachot, use the Mishnah Berurim. After you went through all that, you can go ahead and look into the Sefer Chacham Avadia, Ben Ish Chai, Chofetz Chaim, Yalkut Yosef, whatever Sefer you want. I educate my boys, B'lei and Har, Baruch Hashem, to always learn first Gemara, and then the Shulchan Aruch, and only then Achronim. Why? Because if you begin with Achronim, you don't really know. Yeah, you're going to see what the halacha states, but you're not going to know what they're talking about. It's like me bringing you a ready-made steak. You don't know how much exertion went into that steak, who killed it, how it was soaked, who baked, who spiced it, how long it was baked in the oven. You don't know all these things. Although you're eating it. That's the same thing when you're learning the books of the Achronim. It's already spoon-fed to you. But Rabotai, there has to be a malus, there has to be toil. And that way, and the only way to that is through the Gemara. I learned Baruch Hashem with Talmidei Chachamim, the night class. It's more the night class. And, one of them mentioned to me something very fascinating. And he said, Rabbi, I was doing it the halacha. He was first doing a halacha in the Shulchan Aruch. I think he was learning the Rav Chaim with the Magen Avraham. One of the commentaries he was learning. And then he says, Rabbi, I got the Peshat. I said, did you do the Beit Yosef on it? He says, no, why should I do the Beit Yosef? I said, do the Beit Yosef first on it. He went to the Beit Yosef, he got stuck in the Beit Yosef, so he had to open up the Gemara in order to be able to understand the Beit Yosef, what he was quoting. After he did the Gemara with the Rashi, came back to the Beit Yosef, came back to the Shulchan Aruch, you know what he answered? Rabbi, the Peshat that I said was over here, so I thought it was correct. After when I went from the Gemara back through the tour, Beit Yosef, and then the Shulchan Aruch, my understanding of this halacha was 100% wrong. It's completely on the other side. And this is where we make a lot of times a mistake. We think we understand what the Magen Avraham is saying. We think we understand what the Taz is saying, what the Bash is saying, what the Cham is saying. These are Achronim on the Shulchan Aruch. We think we understand what they're saying. How do you understand what they're saying if you don't even know what the Gemara is saying and what they're speaking about? That's what Rabotai always start from the root of learning Torah. I'm not telling you not to learn Yalkut Yosef. I'm not telling you not to learn Chacham Avadia or Ben Ish Chai or Chofetz Chaim. That's good to learn. Make time for that also so you can know halacha by the way. But real Amelis B'Torah begins with Gemara. Continues the Chofetz Chaim says, if a person is going to do this, if he's going to learn every single day, every single moment, then you're going to find the Torah which HaKadosh Baruch Hu had hidden for you. He says this pasuk on this person, Re'eh Chaim im isha asher ahavta. You will see to enjoy life with the wife you love. Kol yamei chayei chavlecha, all the fleeting days of your life. Asher natan lecha tachat Hashem, which Hashem has given you under the sun. Ki hu chalkecha b'chaim, because that is your portion in this world. If you look into Kohelet, over there Rashi says, do you know what this is speaking about? It is speaking about a person that pairs Torah with work. Some people, they value work more than they value Torah. Comes the Chofetz Chaim says, this pasuk when he says, if you want to see life in your fleeting days in this world, pair Torah with work. If you're gonna have Torah, you're gonna enjoy the wife you love. You're gonna enjoy your children. You're gonna enjoy life. But he says, Aval imlo yaseken. But what happens if you're not gonna do so? You're not gonna pair Torah with, you're not gonna pair work with Torah. All you're gonna do is you're gonna run after your job, after money. You're not gonna run after Torah. But if he's not going to do so, if he's not going to pair work with Torah, but rather you're going to relinquish some days or even some hours every single day and you're not going to learn Torah in them, it comes out, you have left with your own hands the treasure which is the Torah in the dirt. Rabotai, by us not learning Torah, when we have the capability of learning Torah, when we have that time to learn Torah and we're not learning Torah, you should understand you are burying Torah of that moment. That time will never come back to you. You could tell me, Rabbi, I'll learn in the next 10 minutes. No problem. But the last 10 minutes, it's out the window. The last 10 minutes you could have made hundreds of thousands of mitzvot. Every single word is 613 mitzvot. And you didn't, you lost that. You're not going to get that back. That's where comes the Chofetz Chaim and he says, if you're not going to learn Torah, but rather skip days or even skip hours, even skip moments in learning Torah, you should know those moments, you are burying the treasure of Torah which was granted to you with your own hands in the ground. So now you have to ask yourself a question. What am I bearing? How am I bearing Torah? If I'm not learning, where you see me have a shovel, you see me have anything, how am I bearing Torah? Comes the Chofetz Chaim tells you in parentheses over here, and he says, Hayinu koach hachasaga asher natan Hashem yitbarach lenafsho. He says the koach hachasaga, the power of comprehension that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has gave a person, the brain. Lo yatzal lipo'ol mamash. It's not going to come out to fruition. Rak nishar lo b'mocho. The brain is going to stay. The power of comprehension is going to stay in your brain. But what happens in the end of a person's life when he dies? Ve'amoach na'aseh afar lebasov. A person's brain in the end is going to be, and the person's brain in the end is going to become dirt. So comes the Chofetz Chaim says, a person has the power of comprehension to be able to understand. Why did Hashem give a human being brains? To be able to think in His Torah, to be able to follow His Torah, to be able to learn His Torah. And Rabotai, when you're not using that power of comprehension for Torah, it stays in your brain. It doesn't come out. It doesn't change you. You're not doing anything with it. With that power of comprehension, with your brain, you could have acquired Olam Haba. You could have acquired eternity. But you're not using that gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed you with. Comes out, you are bearing all the Torah treasures that HaKadosh Baruch Hu planted for you in this world. You are leaving everything behind. How? Because when a person dies, his brain goes into the dirt. And now you have to ask yourself a question. Are we normal or not for wasting time when it comes to learning Torah? I can't, Rabbi. It's hard, Rabbi. Rabotai, if you are able to learn, get up and learn Torah. Don't waste time. Now, I want to make something clear. When you're with your wife and kids, that's not wasting time. When you are working out, that's not wasting time. When you're davening, that's not wasting time. When you're working, making a living, that's not wasting time. I'm speaking about when you have the ability to learn Torah. When you're not with or you spent, let's say, 1 hour with your wife. You spent some time with your children. You exercised that day. You went to work and you have another hour at night or 2 hours at night. And you decide to go on YouTube or Instagram, I don't know, and you sit there or you watch movies all day. Rabotai, that's called spare time you have. Nobody's bothering you. Why aren't you learning Torah then? Understand, when you're wasting your time, you are burying the treasures of Torah into the ground. How? Because your brain at that moment is not using it. He's not using the power of comprehension to learn Torah, to understand Torah, to build himself a bigger Olam Haba. You're not doing it. In the end, Rabotai, for those moments, what you could have understood with your brain, you could have understood Torah and you didn't, all that, Rabotai, right now is buried inside the ground. Comes the Chofetz Chaim and he concludes and he says, this person is going to be considered a fool because of this for eternity. That he went out and he lost the present that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him in the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you all the Torah on Har Sinai. It's our job to go ahead and find it. And you lost that present by not using your brain. You are considered to be a fool. But I checked it out, Rabotai, it's in Daf Daled Amur Aleph. Who's considered to be a fool? It is that person that destroys whatever is given to him. So whenever you're given something, and in this situation, we're going to have to pair Torah with your brain. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a brain to think with it, to learn Torah with it, to accumulate wealth of Torah for Olam Haba, and you're not doing it, that is the present that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. And what are you doing with your own hands? You're destroying it by wasting time. Comes out over here the question, are we fools or not? And if you're sitting and you're wasting your time, the answer is very simple. You are considered to be a fool because of this for eternity.